Hi there, Candice.
Hi, Season 2.
Hi, Season 2. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Candice.
And welcome to Don't Start.
And as we like to say, don't start.
Candice, save it for the show.
Exactly. So let's get to it.
I am coming to you from my brother's house because I'm on the road.
I love it. And I'm about to go on the road to South Carolina, but you're also back from the bayou.
I think you mean the jungle island life. I was just in Panama on the islands of Boca del Toro at a gorgeous resort, Red Frog Beach Resort, on a surf adventure.
How was the surf adventure?
No surfing. Me no surfing.
Yeah.
Chad all surfing.
Yeah.
Me relaxing.
You got to tell me, how was the vacay? It looked spectacular from pictures. You looked so relaxed. Tom and I being like, we need to go on a vacay and just like the two of us sit on a beach.
Right.
It looked beautiful.
Maverick's a good time, though. He's an easy peasy baby.
Oh, yeah.
You just have been doing a lot of family.
You just want to do the beach. On the beach.
Yes. Well, I would say my story about trip versus vacation.
That's true. That's true.
This was an adventure. I realized there's a third category.
I feel like you should write a book. It should be like all the categories of tripping.
I shall.
That's true.
Excuse me? I think that might be a different book.
No,
all the categories of tripping.
Wait,
what drugs you could take and trip on?
I think that's a really sellable title. I think you'd be like on a list of a bestseller with the book Trippin', and it's all different thoughts of all kinds of vacays.
Okay, you got it. That's what it takes. I will do it, and I will journey, and I will go on the trips. No, it was extraordinary. And the thing that I thought was really funny that Chad and I both talked about was like, I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought like, I didn't have this like absurd amount of joy and excitement on the vacation. There was a beauty of constant, calm, grounded peace. And we were like, that's a new feeling of vacation, right? Where you're like, both of us were like, we live here now. This is where we are.
I texted you and I was like, Sarah and Chad are never coming back. It's like, I could feel it.
I think that was like the idea that we got was like, oh, we could do this. You know, I think that was like coming back to reality. Chad keeps saying to me, because I just traveled on one of the worst travel weeks.
I heard
the year, pure chaos. I think anybody that traveled this week, they know it was chaos. Chad said, just bring the Panama piece into your life. Remember the island. It's hard, though.
Panama piece. Can I ask you? Because I'm all about the segueing, and I'm going to segue in a minute. But
I was excited to segue too, but let's segue when you're ready.
My segue was going to be on the vacay / adventure. We're calling it an adventure. On the adventure, did you feel that you and Chad, because you had quality time together, worked on without working on it, like it just happened naturally, the communication of you both, because we have a communication expert about to come on today. But I'm just saying, how is your communication with one another being away like that?
Ironically, I think we didn't need to communicate because we just vibed.
So it was like the ultimate communication, which is like when you don't even have to speak.
Don't need to say anything.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
You would just look at each other, look at the water, and sip on some rum.
Oh,
well, no, the thing was, is like what I found was very interesting. It was like Chad did his morning thing. I did my morning thing. So he'd wake up, go on the boat, and go surfing. Yes. And Chad's mom would be like, hey, did you go get pictures of Chad surfing? I was like, oh, no. My morning was wonderful. I woke up. I had a beautiful fresh fruit breakfast. I did some yoga. Yeah. I laid at the beach. I read a little bit. And I was
so jealous.
I don't need to go watch the surfer, but I did have to go ask somebody to take a picture. So we proved that Chad surfed. But yeah, I would say, I think we were like consciously unconscious.
No, it's
awesome. Not a word. That's not what it is. Consciously, not overly communicating, but I would say it was a vibe.
Because you were a vibe, man. You were like on the wavelength with one another. Tom and I were the polar opposites the week you were gone because we were in Florida working. I had shows, and then we went to Disney where all communication goes out the window. All of a sudden, no one knows what they're doing. Everyone's angry. Yeah. It's hot. It's rainy. It's just as much as I like. But this is the second time going, and every time I go, we don't need to come back for a while. And now I'm really saying it, we don't need to go back for a while. Because it's like, it's exhausting. And traveling was exhausting this time. Maverick was great. And it just was exhausting.
Yeah, he is. But it is the happiest place on earth, right?
Tom turned to me and he was like, you know what, Can? He had such high hopes for Disney. I didn't. I was like, I have to work. I'm focused on that. I'm focused on the shows or whatever. And then all of a sudden he was like.
Right, because you did Disney before the shows.
We did it after, because in my brain, I don't
you
think I could have done
first.
it. Yeah, I don't think I could have concentrated. So we timed it after, but like there's no communication in Disney. So like we were both like, he was just like, I'm stressed. I was like, I know, we're supposed to be happy. But we did find some like beautiful moments, and Maverick had a great time, and we were like, oh, this is so special. But then we're back to not fighting, just like stupid bickering. I thought you wanted ice cream. I don't want ice cream. Like, look at what we're bickering about. No, I'm hot. Oh, I'm hungry. What time's the reservation? Like, it's just stupid stuff, right?
It's stressful, though.
It is a little. It is a little.
But my sister-in-law yesterday did turn at Disney, at dinner.
Do you want to go?
We're due for a Disney trip.
But your sister-in-law and you and your family knows how to rock Disney. We're still not there yet. We're not rocking.
Nobody rocks it. It's unless you're just an annual pass holder and you're just chill in the way that we just go with the flow. So you don't feel like you don't have to accomplish everything. When you're a pass holder and you live in Florida, you just go when you feel
that is
the
true.
want.
That is
so then
true.
You can leave. You don't feel the pressure of accomplishing everything.
That is very true. I felt that way when we lived in New York. Like I never felt pressure about seeing stuff. Like I never trekked through New York because you're like, I live here. But I will say, I always look like ass at Disney. It's now my second time. Every picture I look like, oh, you have a Disney water bottle. I love it.
I do.
But every picture, family, let's do a family picture. I'm like, I look like yes. Like I don't even, I just look.
It's so hard to be cute.
Nope, I'm not cute at Disney.
I wasn't very cute on the islands. Everything stayed. My hair did not dry the entire week.
I kind of love that. I can't believe we're talking about how we look in pictures, but like that is it's memories, right? It's like, come on, man. Wait, our guest is in the lobby. Hold on.
But don't bring her in yet. I'm not. Take a moment and we're going to communicate all about this great communicator. But also what a great pivot. You were talking about New York. You were talking about the ability to communicate. Yes. Go for it, Candice. I feel like this is a longtime friend of yours.
Yeah.
But also like we used to audition with each other.
Oh my God. Well. I feel like we're all going to get on this and just be like, so Renée Marino is coming on. I went to college with Renée. We were college sweet mates, and we had the best
I thought
time.
You were going to say college sweethearts.
I mean,
we were college sweethearts.
We kind of were. I mean, we have a bunch of funny stories. I mean, we really were. We were the two Italians, but we have so many stories. She's such a talented, nice, kind human. But I was like, besides that, I was like, Sarah and I knew like we need to have someone like Renée on because she sort of encapsulates things that Sarah and I love to do, which is like pivot and, go on to something else and then revisit things. She is really great at that. So Renée currently is a dynamic international keynote speaker. She's a host. She's a connection expert. She's got a book out. You can go find her book. You can read it. You can also do the audio of her book.
Her book is called Becoming a Master Communicator. And Clint Eastwood is on the cover quoted saying, when it comes to helping you authentically communicate, Renée Marino is the woman to do that.
Can you love that? And little fun fact about Renée, she has a bunch of Broadway credits and she was Mary Delgado in the film adaptation of Jersey Boys, which Clint Eastwood directed. So like this girl she's done it all and she never surprises me. And I tell her that all the time. Like she wants to challenge herself and accomplish something. She figures it out. She's a figure outer, which I love. Like that is Renée in a nutshell. She will just figure it out. Yeah. And now she's like hosting with Tony Robbins, the Unleash the Power Within. She does the Time to Rise Summit with that team. She's everywhere. I'm so proud of her. I love her. And I just think she's a great person to have a conversation with. Should we bring her in?
All right.
My God, let's bring in Renée.
Look at her in front of this beautiful greenery.
Wait.
Okay, we don't hear you yet, but she's got her hoops. She got a deep,
so beautiful
part, and she's boogie.
She's dancing, but I don't hear anything, and I don't know if it's us.
I think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't hear anything.
Oh my God. Wait, can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Yes.
I hear you now.
Now we're booking.
Why is it delayed on my end? I feel like such a schmuck with these things.
Yeah, tech.
It's like it's such a gift, yet such a pain in the ass.
I can't.
Oh my God. Well said, Renee.
How are you,
Look
Mama?
at us.
It's so great to see you. Wait, Sarah, where are you located?
Well, currently I am at my brother's house in Florida.
Great. I was just in Florida. I was just in West Palm.
Oh, yeah, that's where my fiance is from. I used to live in Palm Beach Gardens. That's where I met my fiance, whose birthday is today. So happy birthday, Chad.
Oh my God, happy birthday, Chad. I was just in Florida last week. This is crazy. Anyway.
Guys, that's what happens in the Northeast. We basically, it's permanent.
It is real. I get why when people get older, they're like, peace out. I'm going to Florida. Like, I was in West Palm in a bathing suit, like living for 80 degrees. And then I came back to having to wear a coat again. Like, I'm so over coats. I want to rip them up.
But Renee, you lived in California like we all did.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Didn't you feel like when you lived there, you like had a moment? Oh, Tom and I definitely had this moment where we were like, we're not stressed. Like, what am I wearing today? That stress is gone.
Oh my God. It was like this beautiful peace. And I'll never forget because Candice, we lived out there around the same time. We beat some like really bad winters in the Northeast. And I just remember it being January and I call up my mom and I'm like, Mom, it's 75 and like the sun's out. She's like, we're in a snowstorm. Goodbye, Renee. And she was like,
it's like the anger. I know. I feel her pain. Her pain.
Yep.
My God, welcome. I'm so happy that you are available to do this.
And part of our show. I mean, Renee, like, what a journey you've been on. I mean, Candice and I now know each other 2 decades, but we were auditioning, all 3 of us, about the same time in New York.
Isn't that like crazy?
It's amazing.
Like, Renee, we went to college together. Obviously, I said it beforehand in your intro, but we were college suite mates. Is that what you call? I'm calling it suite mates, but that's what we called it.
Correct.
Okay,
I think
great.
that's correct.
But I literally was like, I've known her since I'm 18, 19 years old. It's insane to me. But yes, the thing that I love the most, that to me, I'm just going to say at the top here is, and it's something myself, Tom, anyone who knows Renee for years and years, or even if you just meet her, the beauty of you is that I feel like you have that energy, which is, I'm going to go for it. Even if I don't know how to do every step. And I don't mean physical step. I just mean like action, right? And I love that that's what you did. You literally have a Broadway career, film career, like all these things. You wanted to do it. You did it. You accomplished it. And then you were like, I'm going to write a book. Let's see how this goes. And I'm like, look at this girl. Like, that to me is so beautiful about the female strength. And I want to applaud you because I'm so proud of you, because no one realizes how hard it is to write a freaking book and for it to be good and for people to get what you do.
And not only just that, pivoting from a career in general is one of the hardest things that everybody can do. People are in a career for their life. Yeah. You did it and said, I want to do something more. I want to change. I want to, and I would love to hear about that, how you got to that place to say, what's going to fulfill me now?
Yeah, that is beautiful. Huge. Sarah and I just said that. We were like, wonder what it was. What was the moment for
evolution?
Renee? Yeah. What was that moment when you were like, I need a change?
It's so funny, girls, because a lot of people, when I started this career, they're like, oh, so this was your COVID pivot. And I'm like, no, it wasn't ever supposed to be a pivot. I'll tell you exactly what happened. And thank you for saying that, Candice. And that's ironic you share that, because that's so much of what I teach now, which I call it imperfect action. Taking action, even when you're afraid, even when you don't know what the next 5 steps are. And that's truly how I've lived my entire life. I'm always jumping in 2 feet and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I want to write a book. And the book came about because I'd always loved writing. I mean, I have 9 million journals in the house. I always wrote personalized children's books for my nieces, my nephews, my friends' kids. But one of my dreams was always to write like a proper, traditionally published book. And like so many of us, for years, I would talk about it. I'm going to write a book one day. I'm going to write a book one day. And it was as if me talking about it was keeping my dream safely alive in the arms of my words.
So God, can you say that again?
Yeah.
Keeping my dream.
It was as if I was keeping my dream safely alive in the arms of my words. So if I talked about it, that was doing it. But I'm like, I have to call BS on myself. So it was 2017, you guys. I just moved back from LA. I booked the workshop of Pretty Woman. that was going to Broadway. And it was the night before Thanksgiving. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving was on my TV. And aloud, I kid you not, I said, Renee, enough about talking about wanting to write a book. Sit down and write the first damn line. And that's what I did. So again, it was imperfect. Yes, I was a writer, but I didn't know the proper way to form it into a book. But I was like, you just need to start. Just start.
Yeah.
And that's how it began. And then I was doing Pretty Woman on Broadway. So I was doing 8 shows a week. And in that show, it was the first time I was on both sides of the table because I was assistant to the choreographer, Jerry Mitchell. I was the dance captain and I was in the show. It was the first time having this different perspective while I was writing the book. So I would do 8 shows a week, get off stage. The crew guys would let me use their room to write. And once the show closed, what happened was I just had this gut instinct where I was like, I'm ready to activate my other gifts. I've always believed that the purpose of my life is to use all of my God-given gifts, all of them. Right. Otherwise, why did God give me them, right? So if writing's a part of that, freaking do it. Make it happen. So I said, I know I want to get this book published. And maybe I want to start coaching. Didn't even know what that meant, you guys. No clue. I'd always been a performer my whole life. And I'm like, maybe I'm going to take a course. And I'd always followed Tony Robbins, always loved him. And he and his partner, Dean Graziosi, were on this video on Facebook for some course to start your own business. I was like, oh, let's do it. So
see, that's what I'm saying. You just do that thing. You're like, that's my fondest memory of Renee is like in a dance studio. They like blurt out some insane choreography and she's like, give it a go. I'm like, girl, did you even map that in your brain? And she just tries it. And like, it was wonderful. Like, it's wonderful. I love it. But I think that's really important to point out. You just do it. And that's a part of you.
And it's such a secret. I believe it is such a secret ingredient to success for all of us. But so many of us get so in our heads, right? I'm not good enough. Now's not the right time. I'll get on video when I lose weight. I'll get on video when I speak better. One of the first things that I started teaching when I started my own business was teaching business owners, entrepreneurs how to get on camera and be themselves because it was the height of COVID. So many people were like, oh, the camera. And that's the first thing I teach is press record because there's a myth out there, I believe, that we think that confidence comes first. All right, I'm going to feel good and then I'm going to go to the gym or I'm going to feel good and then I'm going to start my business and then action comes. But the truth is it's action comes first, imperfect action. And then once we do that thing, even if it sucks, like you press record on that video and it's horrible the first time, you may look back and be like, oh, I don't love it. But there's that little party that's like, but you did it, Renee. Good job.
Yeah.
Right? All of those nuggets build on themselves to become this armor of self-belief. So it's just a great practice to try in our lives. Like take the action. The minute your brain says, I don't know if I can do it. Tony Robbins calls this stretching. If your brain's like, I can't, that means I can, I will, I must, it's done. And just go.
But Renee, I have to talk to you about that because it was brilliantly stated, right? And all three of us are people that jump on stage. We do it. We jump in the deep end. You were somebody that has done it to the nth degree, fully accomplished your dreams and keep doing it. You keep surpassing yourself in your success. That is magic.
Thank you.
So my question for people that don't even know that feeling of knowing I can achieve the top of my career, you do it seamlessly.
Yeah.
What do you say to somebody that doesn't even see those goals, but they do want it because it is terrifying for that? You've got it, kid.
Thanks.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yes,
and that's something that's a magic that, like you said, God gave you. How do you speak that to people that don't even know that belief?
Well, first thing I would say is ask yourself. So I have it's called the 7-step connect method. And the first part of that method is the C. It's an acronym. And the C is it's communication
the
with
joy of an acronym.
Right? Like I love an acronym.
Yes, me too.
I mean, we're actors, right? We're like anything to make it easy. So
that's how I remembered to pass science was like acronyms.
1,000,000%. So the C is that communication with self. And that is lost in today's world. Why? We are all so distracted. You guys, I did so much research for my book. Our brains have begun to speed up because of digital technology. Then we wonder why we can't focus. We're writing emails, we're sending texts, our husbands are calling us. It's like too much. And because of that, not only just from an external perspective are we distracted, but we're distracted from ourselves. How often are we waking up and instead of rolling over to our nightstand to grab our smartphone to check our emails or hop on social media, I call it the good old S&C, scroll and compare, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And what does that do? That moves us further and further away from ourselves. What's going on? What do I want? What are my dreams? So step one for anyone who's like, yeah, that's good for you, Renee, but how do I do it? I don't even know what I want. Great. Leave your damn phone aside. Take out a pen and a piece of paper. And when you wake up in the morning, give yourself 10 minutes of alone time and ask yourself one question. How am I feeling? And then put pen to paper to write the answer. And why write? Because when we write, we activate more parts of the brain. It gives us a deeper understanding. And it's like this beautiful stream of consciousness that happens that pulls out those thoughts from our subconscious into our conscious, through our hand and onto the page. And then what happens is when we read back oftentimes what we wrote, we're like, oh my God, I forgot about that dream that I had. Oh my God, since a freaking little girl, I wanted to write a book. I forgot about that. And I have chills right now. All of a sudden, you're reminded of the things you want. And then I'd say step two, once you get accustomed to what makes me happy, right? What is that thing when I do, it lights me up? It could be anything. Then ask yourself, how can I do more of that? We have access to everything now. Maybe it's interior designing and you're a stay-at-home mom. You know what? Put the video camera on, talk about how you're designing your living room while the kids are at school and start small and just start. It's that simple because the alternative is we don't. We say we're going to do something, then the weeks go by, the years go by, and it's 10 years and we're in the same spot that we were. So just start. Connect with yourself, figure out what the heck makes you happy, do more of that because when we're happy, we're energy, right? We attract more of those opportunities and then it just is it takes off like a wheel.
Oh my God. I have to ask this because first of all, that was beautifully said. So I want to hug you through the screen because I know little Renee and I'm like, she's a freaking grown ass woman.
And Candice,
leading the charge.
That's what I want to ask you. Were you this when you were a kid? Because that's all I kept thinking when you were talking with such fire and feist.
Yes.
Were your parents like, oh, well, we got to watch out for this girl, but fuel her, motivate her to keep that fire?
Yes.
How were you as a child?
Yes.
Were you always this?
I would say yes. I believe it was innately in me. And I just remember, you guys, thank God I was brought into such a beautiful family and my parents just instilled so many morals within me. And one of the most important ones that I live by, and I believe it has been my driving force throughout my whole life. My father always said, listen, I'm Italian, right? What do? We sit around the kitchen table, we eat, number one, we talk, sometimes argue. Nonetheless, we communicate and connect.
All day.
And that's what I know, right? So my parents would always say to me, 4 of the most powerful words that shaped me. If something was going on, they'd say, let's talk about it.
Ugh.
And I never realized till I got older how important that is because we always had this open conversation. And my father would say to me, little shit, that was his nickname for me.
Yeah.
He'd be like, little shit, listen to me. People are always going to try to change you and knock you down, but you just always stay true to who you are and be confident in that person. And that has always, truly led me in the right direction because especially as performers, I'm a queen of rejection. That's always what I say. You want to talk about rejection now, in the entrepreneurial space, I laugh when people are like, what do you do when you get rejected? I'm like, let me tell you.
Yes, absolutely. Give me a martini. Let's talk about it.
But what I realized is that I was able to handle it because as many times as they told me, you look too Italian, you're too short, you're not ethnic enough, you're too ethnic. I just always listened to my father's words that said, Renee, stay true to who you are, stay grounded in that and just keep pushing forward. So yes, I always had that fire within me, but I believe it was instilled in me from my parents.
I'm going to second that because I feel like Renee and I grew up in the same home because our dads were all so much alike. But I agree. When Renee was in school with us, I truly, in my gut, was like, first of all, truly an authentic human, always, but like had that fire. And I feel like maybe it's an Italian thing, not sure, but I do think it's also like you're growing up in that household of let's talk about it. You know, what's bothering you today? Like my dad does the same thing. What's going on here? What's going on here? Right? Like that energy. So I do think it's beautiful that you're able to so eloquently put that into your work now.
Hey, Don't Start friends. Quick update. Sarah is back on tour with WWE. Don't miss her. You can catch her on our Instagram, and I am also on tour. I'll be touring Italian Bread. You can catch it all on my website, and you can watch my comedy special on Amazon and Apple TV. We're some busy gals, and while you're at it, do us a favor. Click subscribe to this podcast. We love hearing from you. Now let's get back to the show.
I do want to ask this because I believe it's important because, you know, someone meets someone like you and they could have this moment where like, well, you know, Renee's just blessed with being positive. She's just able to look at that. Do you ever have that moment where you're like down and out and you're like, I can't? Because I will say to you, I'm that person, you know, when I had it's my fertility and my endometriosis that took me so down and out that I had to climb out. It took me a while. I wasn't like, I'm out of this. No, it took me years. So my question to you is, do you ever have that moment and like, how did you climb out? And I don't want to get negative, but I just want to know.
Especially in a very competitive field.
Yeah,
like it's
whatever
inevitable.
That is.
Rejection, no matter as thick our armor is.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. When I started my business, which again, talk about jumping in, like, it's not like I was like dreamt of being an entrepreneur. I didn't even know what the heck an entrepreneur meant, guys. Like,
I don't even know where you start. I'm like, that's interesting.
No, truly. So I'll tell you this. When I moved back from LA, and I love sharing this because this, again, part of what I teach, step 2, the O is own who you are. And that means own all of yourself. Don't just share the parts of yourself that you love, the successes. No, we need to share those parts of ourselves that we want to hide the most because those are the ones that connect us with others the most. And that's what I cannot stand in this world of social media influencers, because I see so many influencers not being real. Here's the truth. If you are an influencer for skincare and you're sharing that the reason you look the way you do is because of fruits and vegetables, but I know it's Botox and filler, well, guess what? Now I don't trust you. And it's your duty to let these young girls who are comparing themselves to you know, just so you know, this is Botox, this is a little enhancer, nothing wrong with it, but be real.
Be real.
So all that to say, own who you are. When I moved back from LA, my father is my best friend. A month later, my dad got diagnosed with cancer. So that was the end. So that was 2017. So once we moved back to New Jersey, we bought a home. My dad was battling cancer, was doing amazing. I was doing Broadway. I was doing Pretty Woman. And then when the show closed, so I wrote and performed my one-woman show called I Am Me Because of 3. I wrote it and performed in LA. And then I was like, you know what? I've never performed it in New York. Like, it's about my family. Like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of lessons in here. So Pretty Woman closes and I go, I got to perform the show. The only date available at the venue, Green Room 42, was September 29th. It was a Jewish holiday, Sunday night, 9:30.
You're like, man.
Literally. I'm like, okay. Everyone and their mother was like, Renee, that nobody's going to come. Like, this is the worst night. And everybody's telling me, wait till the spring. Again, my gut instincts. And I usually get swayed by people's opinions in that sense of like, what should I do? I could have decision fatigue. And at this point, you guys, I was like, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm doing it. I end up doing it that night. We sell it out. Yeah. My father's in the front row. My husband films it, and I could cry. Like, if I show you it, like, he filmed it, so you see my father watching me. It was the most beautiful night. Everybody's like, oh my God, like, your father looks so good. Like, he doesn't have cancer. A few weeks later, my husband and I, this was the first time that we were trying. We're like, let's see what happens. If we get pregnant, great. So a few weeks later, my mom calls me and she's like, you have to get to the doctor. Daddy's cancer spread. A week later, I take a pregnancy test. I'm pregnant for my first time. I will never forget this. I look up to God and I'm like, God, are you serious? Like of all times, like all I ever wanted was to picture my father as a grandfather. Like, how is this happening? December 22nd of that year, the end of 2019, my father passes. 3 days, we bury him. 3 days later, we go to the doctor and we miscarried.
Renee, I'm so sorry. All that.
Well, it gets better.
It gets better. I'm so sorry.
I'm so grateful to be able to share this, because if this can help anyone else to understand that nobody knows what someone else is going through. So I was the guest artist for John Lloyd Young, who I did Jersey Boys with, the film. I was his guest performer for his show for a week, the first week of January. So not only did I miscarry and I needed to get a DNC, but had to wait a week.
Yep.
I had to now sing and perform. By the way, I picked my dad's favorite song because he was supposed to be there for a week.
God.
So I'll just give you I won't go into full details, but needless to say, it's the start of 2020. I not only lost my father, we lost a child. Now I had to get a DNC. The doctor, I'll just be real. She left gauze in me. So that caused trauma. Thank God I was okay, but forget about that. It's just the trauma on top of trauma. That led to a series of health challenges.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the doctor's like, oh, you need to go get your thyroid checked. So for that whole year, you guys, not only did I have all this loss, I was getting an extra heartbeat every fourth beat because I was in hyperthyroidism. This was the same time. It was COVID now, the world shut down. I started a new business. I'm writing a book. And that following year, I had to get a heart procedure. So when you talk about dealing with hard times, I felt like the world, like the rug was ripped out from under me. And I was like this. And I was in such deep emotional trauma.
Yes.
And at the same time, like, how could it be, right? How could you be building something so beautiful and be struggling so much at the same time? So I understand when people say, like, I felt like I was at the lowest of low. I felt lost. I was in such anxiety. And it was horrible because I'll wrap it up by saying this, grief is such an interesting thing because I didn't even have time to truly grieve my father, who was my best friend, to grieve the loss of a child because all these other traumas kept happening. Renee, you need to get your thyroid checked. Renee, you are getting an extra heartbeat. It's COVID. So it wasn't until, I would say, you guys, the following years, like 2021, 2022, that all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, my body calmed down a little bit to be like, what the just happened? And it was challenging. It's been some of the hardest years I've gone through, but maybe outside people just see this, right? So it's so important to talk about this because that's the realness of life.
I'm so
Renee,
sorry, Renee. I'm crying like a
Renee.
Thank you.
Renee, I literally had 2022 as the same type of year. I had two shocking. My fiance lost his dad a month later. My dad died, and I had the loss of my first pregnancy. Went to work the next day, covering a paternity leave. As I'm you will change forever. And I kept looking up, and of course, then my dog died, and you were just like, well, that's
mine too.
And it's weird how this is sort of like a fate moment of us, you and me, connecting in this conversation in this space. And I think it's so much of why Candice and I are doing this is to talk about it, because you aren't alone, and we have to speak, because I looked up to God and I said, I get it. I'm strong. But I'm done. I'm tired. And I'll never be the person I was before that year.
I know.
And now and trying to pivot, is it right? And you are the queen of that. And then I'm grateful you're here for us today to talk about it. But like finding a new fulfillment is where I'm at, right? Evolving from who I was before that happened.
Yes.
And not being fearful.
Sarah, and I don't want to cut you off, but this is important, I think, for everyone to hear who's listening. Grief, I've learned, because let me tell you, I do everything, girls. I did inner child work, therapy. I mean,
yes. I went to a shaman. Listen, we all did. I went for 5 years straight to a shaman. I was like, I keep going and keep going. I was like,
you search, you go to the depths of your soul to search for anything when you are really like people like us, but people that are in the bottom of the well, you literally are trying to climb out. So you do anything. You do whatever you can do.
And what, to your point, and I think this is probably true for all of us, you always think of grief as losing someone, like somebody dies, you grieve. No, what I've learned is it's also grieving the circumstances you thought you'd have, grieving the life you thought you would have, grieving your former self that no longer fits that mold of where you were, because the only constant in life is change, right?
Yeah.
That's the part of grieving that so many, and especially as women, oh my God, and then hormones and perimenopause. I mean, it's like, geez, Louise, like there's so many chapters and pieces of our life that grief isn't just about losing someone important to you. Grieving has to do with your former self, which I think is a big one that nobody talks about. And it's so important because you do feel like you're alone in those moments. That's the scariest part, is always from the outside, you're like, everybody else has it together but me, right? Just me. And it's such a lie. And that's why conversations like this are so not just important, but a must.
A must. And I do have to just say, you're brave to do it. Because I think a lot of people, and this is just my personal experience of going through whatever my trials were and still are and things I deal with, I notice a lot of people are afraid to talk about it because whatever that is, it doesn't necessarily have to be, the fertility or a grieving situation, whatever it is for them. They're just afraid to open up because they're going, I don't want someone to think differently of me. And I want to blame social media on that, because even me, myself, I'll say, oh, I can't put that video. I look really haggard. And I won't put it out. And then I'll be like, well, no one gets that information. And whatever the information was, even if it was funny, it's like, so I do think there's this thing that we just stop because we don't want people to think differently of us. Do you feel like social media is killing us? Do you feel like, I mean, I obviously follow your page. I think you do social media beautifully because you're giving us information. You're using it for a platform. But I think of young people. I think of, the 20s. I even think of the early 30s when you're still trying to figure that shit out. What do you feel about social media, and how do you want people to tackle it correctly? Oh, I don't know if correctly is the right word, but
it's a double-edged sword. And it's so funny. That's why I wrote the book. Literally, guys, that's why I wrote this book. The subtitle is Balancing New School Technology with what I call that old school simplicity.
Yeah.
And that's how I believe we win with social media, because it can be such a beautiful resource. I mean, too much information for my liking, but we can learn about things that are of interest to us. There's a lot that we can take from it, but I believe the problem arises whether it's the computer in schools. I just did a post about this. It truly went viral because it was just about how since 2010 something has shifted where for the first time our generation, the younger generation, is not as cognitively advanced as their parents were at their age. And the reason why is because the introduction of technology into schools, because that's not the way we learn. So to answer your question, then we use it as a tool, but not the only tool of connect. Because what happens is people mistake likes and comments and attention for true connection, and it's not. So we have to I call it consciously connect. We have to learn to consciously connect. Go on social media, like when I go up there and I want to share something important, like that post about that research that was shown. That's where it's a gift to us, and we can use it for our improvement. But when we use it unconsciously, scrolling and comparing, that's when it becomes detrimental.
Renee, it's really funny. I just went on this vacation with my fiance to Panama, to the islands off of Panama. And Candice asked me in the beginning when we were doing intro, because we were talking about communication, if our communication was very, really connected. And I said, actually, I felt like we were consciously, and I said unconscious, and that was completely wrong. We were consciously unconnected in a beautiful way that we were physically incredibly connected, but we didn't have to communicate or talk to each other about it. I just loved what you just talked about.
And then I said, I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was a very special moment. And piggybacking off of that with talking about relationships with communication, I just recently read a post because we were talking about change and how you're fearless in your changes, in adapting. And I think inevitably what we realize with whether it's perimenopause, whether it's grief, whether it's motherhood, there's such gorgeous beauty and change. And that we don't have to have people know us as that stagnant person that we've known. I love that because it makes me really happy when I go hang out with a friend from college. I was like, you know Sarah. Okay. You know 20 Sarah. And it was a different type of joy and phonetic energy and like just different connection. Totally. I thought there was this beautiful post, and I'll try to find it and even send it to you, about keeping your relationship alive and knowing that you should continue to fall in love and evolve and also reconnect with your partner because she or he is always changing. And I think when we don't notice it is when you lose each other.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, I am going to keep changing. Chad will keep changing, but we have to follow that and rediscover one another. Yeah. And that's beautiful. And that's not something to fight.
No.
But I think our world wants us to stay like, I'm this picture and I'm, on the social media, on the TV, wherever you are.
Yeah. And that's
so as a connection expert, I thought you'd appreciate that.
Yes, I love that. And that's why what you just said signifies why it is why everything starts with communication. Everything. Yeah. Because of what you just said. The only constant in life is change. And the biggest mistake we all make in relationships, me included, that's why I can always speak on things because I'm like, I make all the mistakes. Like my husband laughs at me because like when we first started dating, I was like, just so you know, communication's my deal breaker. Like if you can't communicate. So now he calls me out like when I'm like, in a mood or something. He's like, oh, miscommunication.
You know what? I was going to ask this. I was like, are you and Mike like fighting in the house and him being like, you're the communicator? Like, what's going on?
And I love it because he calls me out. But that's why communication is so important because we are going to be growing and changing. And when you stay in communication, that's when you roll with it together. It's the people and the couples who go off in their separate caves and we fall into assumption, right? I assume you're going to stay the same. I assume you still want the same things I do. No, maybe we are going to want different things. Let's talk about it. Let's see how we can honor what you want and honor what I want. And you talk about it. And yes, sometimes there's going to be arguing. People, that's okay. Like I have friends who are like, no, we don't argue. I'm like, well, sometimes passion goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying knock down, drag out, but communication sometimes that's what happens. But as long as you're both willing to put in the work, that's what it's going to take.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit? I know we're talking about a lot of what you're working on now, but you've worked with two legends in their rightful industries, Clint Eastwood and Tony Robbins. Can you talk about those experiences and what you gained and learned from all of that?
Oh my God, girls, we can do hours of an episode that I've learned from the two of them. And I have to say this before we even go into it. I am so grateful because both of them are the most genuine, beautiful souls. And I will tell you this. I had the honor of spending time in Hollywood and being in that scene. And I am most impressed. Any interview I've ever done, anybody I've ever talked to, they know this. I am most impressed with truly genuine people above anything else. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how cool you are, how pretty. When I meet you, and if you are not down to earth, I'm done. I'm turned off. I'm done. And trust me, living in LA, I have stories of disappointments of people when I was on the red carpet that I was so excited to meet. And then I met and I was like, man, what a
disappointment. I know.
And these two legends, the reason why I would say both of them are GOATs in their own right. The reason they're the greatest of all time in their respective industries is because of who they are. Yeah. So I'll start with Clint, who I love so much. He became a mentor to me. You'll love this lesson. So this is one of the greatest ones. I talk about it in the book. So we're filming the big breakup scene of Frankie and Mary in the film. So I go to do this. We're on the freaking Warner Brothers lot. I mean, crazy. Like, it's so crazy when I think about it. And we do the scene once, and then Clint's like, all right, now I want you to really give it to him. And I'm like, okay. So I get in the zone, and I, I'm walking up the stairs, and I'm pissed, and I'm drunk. And I'm like, you show up for a couple of days, and you think that makes you a father. And And all of a sudden, I forget all my lines. Poof, they just go out of my mind. And like a few seconds later, I pick it back up, finish the scene, and Clint's like, that was it. And I'm like, Clint, I just forgot all my lines. He's like, I don't care. It was real and it was raw, and that's good. When I was filming with Meryl, and in my head, I'm like, oh my God, he's talking to me about Meryl Streep. He's like, I was filming with Meryl. She used to do 1 million takes of her scenes until they were perfect. Until I filmed one of her rehearsal takes and she saw how raw and organic it was, she never did 1 million takes again.
Oh,
and all of a sudden, girls, the light bulb went off for me, who was a forever perfectionist.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. This is the beauty of imperfection. Imperfection is real because you know what? When we're pissed off sometimes, we forget what we're going to say. And that's real. And from that moment on, it changed my whole perspective on any idea of perfectionism. And it's funny because Tony Robbins always says perfectionism is the lowest standard you can go for. Because
Oh, that's funny. I love that.
It is. It's the lowest standard. So Clint taught me that. Clint, oh my God, he was the best, you guys. He would sit.
I'm sure.
I would sit and eat lunch with him every day when we were finished filming. And I have journal entries of just everything he taught me. And I don't know if you know my story of me booking the film, but
you could tell us if you want.
Tell us, but I remember this story.
This is again, like this is,
tell us.
It's so good for everyone listening to hear because there's so many beautiful lessons. So I'll give you the 40,000 foot view. So I'm doing Jersey Boys on Broadway. It's 2013. I'm on stage singing, and my boyfriend's back and he gotta be in trouble. And I look out to the audience and 10 rows back, it's Clint Eastwood. And I'm like, that's awesome. Obviously, we're on Broadway. A lot of celebrities come to the show. We meet him that day. Great. A week later, we find out that he's going to be directing the film version. And I'll tell you the truth. My first thought was, oh, that's awesome. I mean, they're going to hire A-list celebrities out of Los Angeles. Like
that would be my thought too. Right.
Marissa Tomei is going to play my role. Like, right? So literally go about my business. And then they start calling people in from our cast to audition. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? It would be cool to just get a chance to audition because then they put out a breakdown, which means for those of you listening, a breakdown is like exact description of who they're looking for this role of Mary Delgado. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, listen. I'm playing the role at the highest level I could be. I mean, if you're asking about type, I'm pretty much her type. Sassy Jersey girl, feisty first wife of Frankie Valli. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I'd love to just get an audition. Great. Weeks go by. This is the best lesson for anyone in the performing field and beyond. So weeks go by. Every girl I know on Broadway is getting an audition for Mary Delgado. I'm talking Sally Smith, who's 6 feet tall and blonde. I'm talking Judy, who's a redhead and skinny and from Iowa.
And you're like, excuse me.
My agent calls me, Renee, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the problem is. They said they won't give you an audition for Mary, but they'll give you one for one of the smaller roles, one of the angels who sings My Boyfriend's Back. Girls, I will never forget. I hang up the phone and I start like getting upset. Like I'm crying.
Yeah.
And I, again, visibly, like verbally to God, I'm like, God, what are you trying to tell me? Like, if I can't even get an audition for a role I'm currently playing at the highest level I could be, and Clint saw me, like, I don't belong in this business. Like, and I'm all about signs, right? I'm like, maybe that's the sign. I feel my feelings for about 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going into audition for an angel. Day of the audition. It's on, I'll never forget. It was on Wall Street. I had another audition in the morning. I put like pin curls in my hair and I go and I take them down and I go to the audition, right? And the casting director and I are chatting and he's like, oh my God, Renee, we saw the show last night. We loved it even more than when we saw it 5 years ago. So would you like to sing My Boyfriend's Back first or read the scene? And at that moment, I swear to you, I heard this quiet little voice within say, you have to do this. It feels too right. And I look at the casting director and I'm like, you know, Jeff, I was really hoping to come in and read for the role of Mary Delgado. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's going to say.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he's like, I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, amazing, great. Okay, great.
Yes.
So then he goes, would you like to, you know, if you want, you could do the Angels audition today. And if you need more time to prepare for Mary, you can come back another day. And in my head, I'm like, hell no.
No.
I'm here.
Right.
Yes.
Do the audition that day. I leave there feeling so grateful because I got the chance. That is all I wanted. All I wanted was the chance, because when the movie came out, I always wanted to know, Renee, you gave it everything you had.
Yes.
That's it. So on my way to the subway, I kid you not, I spot a church and I was like, I'm going to go light a candle. And I was just like, thank you, God. Like, I'm so grateful I got the chance.
Such an Italian thing to do. You go light that candle.
I lit that candle. So I go back to 8 shows a week, right? 2 weeks later, I'm at my childhood home in New Jersey, 5 miles from where the whole storyline of Jersey Boys takes place. I'm with my mom, my dad, and my 90-year-old grandmother. We're about to leave for my brother's wedding, okay? I'm in my little childhood bedroom with the TV and the VCR that's attached, you know?
Yep.
My agent calls me and she's like, you're Mary Delgado in the movie. Clint Eastwood loves you. And I'm like, literally, guys, it was so surreal. I'm screaming. I run out of the bedroom. My mom's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm going to be in a movie. My dad's like, oh my God, calm down. My 90-year-old grandmother's like, I've been praying for this for years. It was hysterical. So now let me just preface this. Never stepped foot on a TV set before, film set. I'd always just done theater, Broadway. So talk about jumping off of a cliff, right?
Complete cliff.
So it's my first day of filming. There's so many details, but I'll just get to the point. So first day of filming and every day that followed, when I was finished shooting for the day, I would sit and eat lunch with Clint, ask him every question I could. Clint, when did you start acting? Clint, what does this camera shot mean? He let me do the take. He was the best. So then it's about a month into the film. I'm eating lunch once again because I'm Italian. Literally one day, Clint's like, you got some appetite, kid. I'm like, what do you want me to say?
No, this is actually very true. In college, I would eat probably 1/3 of my plate to stay in shape or whatever, to try to stay in the costume. And here's Renee housing things. And I'm like, this bitch is going to fit. And she fit right in the I'm like, oh, God, I want her appetite. Your metabolism is off the hook. You're my sister. She's Kelly.
Do you remember, though, on the college door, it was like Carissa and the bottomless pit. That's what they call her.
She was the bottomless pit. And what's even weirder is that's what we call my sister. It's the bottomless pit. You just keep eating. I love it.
I'm still the same. So we're talking, right? So it's me and one of the executive producers of the film. And they begin talking about how Clint knew he wanted me for the role when he saw me perform on Broadway. And I put my fork down and I said, do you guys want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
I never got an audition for the role of Mary. The only reason I got to read the scenes is because I opened up my big mouth in the room and asked. And the two of them look at each other. They go, wait. What do you mean? We requested you. We sent a girl from the Broadway show to come into this audition. And I found out that day that there was a middle person, casting associate, juggling a few films at once and just dropped the ball on having me come into audition. And this, my friend, is such a reason why I teach the power of speaking up and communicating. Because if I did not speak up that day, I could have missed my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Truly, I could have been sitting in the movie theaters watching Jersey Boys instead of on the screen in Jersey Boys, never knowing that Clint Eastwood was waiting for me to walk through the door.
Holy shit.
Renee, I have to ask you, where did you grow up in Jersey? I'm a Jersey girl, too.
Oh, my God, Linden.
I grew up in Nutley.
Shut up.
Literally next door to Belleville. Where, my mom grew up in Jersey City.
Oh, my God.
Too funny.
Shut up. And now my cousin owns... It's called Violante's Meat Market. He used to be in Bloomfield. Now it's in Nutley.
Too funny.
Go to the meat market.
Well, I also want to say the thing that I would say about speaking up, as Northeastern girls, not just Italian, all of us come from a loud household that's what it's about. You will not be heard. We're all feisty and the world keeps spinning, but we all have this I need to say it. But I also want to say the thing that's really cool, and I've had these moments in auditions too, where you're something inside me says, I got to speak up here.
Yeah.
I got to go with my gut. And sometimes we go, stay humble, stay quiet.
Yes.
And those moments, there's something inside speaking up saying, you're supposed to do it. And I've realized more and more is you have to listen to that subconscious. You have to listen to your instincts and your gut more often.
Because it's our compass. I call it your inner compass, right?
Yeah.
It's our gut is our greatest guide. But what happens is, going back to what we started this interview with, communication with self, step one, Nobody's getting in touch with who they are. So then what happens is we operate from that other voice. The voice that's like, you're not good enough. Nobody's listening to you. Who are you to be on that stage? Blah, 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 right? And that loud voice is really just trying to protect us, even though it feels like it's trying to tear us down.
I literally have just read a whole thing about it. That voice is literally the animal instinct of being like, oh, you might get eaten by that lion.
Yes.
Like that's really where it comes from.
So I teach my clients, realize instead of fighting that voice or trying to push it away, thank it. Because all it's doing is what a parent does. Candice, you get this now. Oh my gosh, zipper your jacket and you're going to catch cold. Look both ways before crossing the street. So if you recognize that voice, right, when it's being loud, is just trying to protect you, this is a really fun practice. Give that voice a name. Mine is Judy. So when Judy acts up and Judy's like, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, I'm like, thank you, Judy. I got it.
Is yours Judy?
Judy.
Mine is Betsy.
No, Judy and Betsy can hang. Yeah. I'm like, thank you, Judy. And when you start to do that, that voice lowers, and then the true voice of your soul, of your gut, it elevates. And when we start operating from that voice, that's when the magic happens, because that's who we really are. That's what our gut instincts are.
Yeah. Well, Renee, I think we can't take too much more of your time.
We're going to end up talking for hours.
I know. I was thinking we could, but I want to talk about one more thing. Is that the thing that's very cool? I guess but impressive with you, and I think you were instilled from your father, is that you are you, and you are authentically you, and that's something that naturally we all gravitate towards because you're fearless in who you are, and you say my flaws are there. We all have them, and that's my strength. And I thank you for being so open, but like that's why people gravitate towards you, because you have strength in your fearlessness, in your authenticity. And that is cool, man.
It's so it is so cool. And when I'm going to fast forward, what's even cooler is now you're like touring the country, guest speaking, you're working with Tony Robbins' team, and like we can find you on social media.
That'll be another interview.
I know.
Then your second book. On your second book?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, what is the future of what you're building? Because you are building something. I hope we're all in life striving to build a world for our own, right? You're building your own world. So before we let you go, because I mean, I'll hug you and kiss you separately, but like, what is the goal for you in the next coming, months to years? Where can we, expect from beautiful you?
Yeah, I just feel so honored that I really believe part of my life mission is to spread this belief that everything starts with communication. And when we learn to connect in a real way, that's where opportunities are created. Connecting in a real way through our authenticity, through our imperfections. And now I get to work with Tony, who is just not just a mentor, but like to just be in his space. And I host his events and we work together very closely, which is such a gift. Continue to do that and help to lead him in his mission, because watching him like just live his God-given purpose is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And then for me, just continuing to keynote speak and get on these amazing stages and spread this message of communication and connection, more of that and hosting. It's what I love. And I believe that's why God instilled it in me, so I can share that.
Oh my God,
well,
we love
bravo. You. We love seeing all your success and your continued success. And
It's
thank you so much.
It's so great to see you
for being here.
Thank you.
We're gonna have you back, dude. Like, you'll just be a friend of the pod and you'll come back.
Yes.
We love you.
All right. Candice, that was amazing. And I haven't had that much of a connection with Renee because we just were passerbys and auditions.
Right.
But man, this interview really felt like fate to me.
Oh my God, I'm so happy you're saying this.
So beyond connected with her and what she stands for and what she's currently doing. I used cool, and I wish there was a more profound word to use.
No,
but
great.
What she's doing it's inspiring and motivating for me.
Good. I love it. I love it because I said this earlier, but now I'm going to put it in a recording. I feel like Renee reminds me of Sarah a bit, but also Renee reminds me of me a bit. So it's like Candice, Sarah, Renee. It feels like the same human in a lot of ways. Honestly, it's kind of funny to me. Being in college with her, we were always sort of doing the same things and a lot alike, both dancers. But I always enjoyed being around her spirit because at the end of the day, she always cheered on other people. It was never fake.
Yeah.
It was never this thing that was sort of like, oh, here's Renee cheering on, doesn't really mean it. Nope. She was really authentically hurt and it helped others be their best selves. And I think what she's doing now is really great for her. It's such a perfect design for her. And I think that's because she's designing it. And I love that she's doing what she's doing. We'll have her back on because I think she's so great at this new venture and it's not even that new. Like she said, it was 2020 that she was like, okay, so she's 6 years in and now she's a guest speaker in conventions and stuff throughout the country. But yeah, I'm so
There was
glad.
many layers to what made it special. Like her understanding that you have to find something within you that brings you that joy. And if your inner voice says you want to do something, do it. Go for it and take the fear out of it. And if there is that fear, put a name to her. Put a name to her like Barbara. Like, what is her name? My name might be Sarah. She's my villain. I always thought it was just my drunk self, but whatever.
Yeah, mine's Betsy. Betsy is super judgy.
Wait to see what she does next. I want to go rewatch Jersey Boys right now. We didn't even touch on Tony Robbins. But if you guys, you have to go follow her. Her social media presence is amazing. And go read her book.
Go read her book.
Let's all be better communicators.
Yeah, Becoming a Master Communicator is her book. It's so good. This
Guys,
was fun.
God gave us gifts. May you use them. God bless y'all.
Yay!
Peace, love, and happiness.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Thanks for joining us today.
You can follow us on Instagram at Don't Start Podcast.
Or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And we'll see you next time, friends.
Don't Start is produced by Anthony Street Productions.